Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bodied, a Cloud9 fan cast. I'm your host Havokpus, and I'm joined by my co-host Frozencreek. And we got a little bit of news. It's kind of, League of Legends is a little bit in the off season, but we have some stuff that people may be interested in. Frozen.
Yeah, I think so. What have you been up to?
Not a lot. I'm finally off shift at my job, so that's good. Now I'm having to learn a new job, which scares me.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I guess. I don't have to stay
Or
up all
something
night
like
or
that.
work weekends anymore, so that's good.
Yeah, that is a plus, even though MSI is coming in. I think a lot of it will probably be during the week.
I can watch it at work. It's fine.
Potentially. I'm not exactly sure, but I know I will not be waking up for it if they are early games.
Yeah, if they're really early games, I may have to just miss some. I really hate that when they're like, we're going to play in Europe, and then it's like, yeah, the first game starts at 4 in the morning, and it's just like, no. Why? No. No.
Yeah, but why though?
Uh,
But that's okay.
just I guess a little catch up on some of our smaller stuff. Rainbow Six did lose in the semifinals of the Korean Spring Open 1-2 to SGA, which kind of sucks because usually they go farther than this, but stuff happens. I wasn't able to watch the game.
Yeah, me neither.
WoW did take first seed in the HWC SL circuit with a record of 7-1. They only lost one match, Frozen.
Huh. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think the Golden Guardians were the ones that ended our streak, which was kind of upsetting because I wanted to see how long we could go without, having to drop a game. And I'm surprised we made it to 6 games, or maybe it's more if they were counting other circuit stuff before this latest one. I can't remember. But 7-1's a really good record. Getting first seed is probably to be expected considering our WoW team is actually really good. So I'm excited to see if there's a playoff bracket. I'm not sure what happens next, but I hope that we can, go far in that and at least get, I don't know, to third place or something. I'm sure we can get top 3, top 3, top 4 is probably what we're hoping to get.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and I see that we tied for first place, but that's all I have.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot of information on the the WoW stuff. If you go to the website, I think even some of the stuff is kind of out of date. So it's hard getting information on what's going on. It's really annoying.
Yeah, this is poorly laid out. I'm looking at the website right now, and I'm not finding much information. So if anyone knows a better source, please let me know because I would like to follow along.
Yeah. On some other, I guess good news, Mango got second place in week 2 of the that Smash SCL stuff, which is really good. He got first place in week 1. So first place, I guess last week, second place this week. Or however you're ordering it. So still some good results from Mango. I'm glad that he's able to kind of compete again, even with there not being a lot of live events. So, good on him. I'm hoping that he can kind of maintain this. And, I don't know how long this goes on and when they go to more of a bracketed kind of stage or whatnot. But I'm hoping he can kind of keep up this consistency and go far in the event or the tournament, whatever this is.
Yeah, agreed. I don't know much about it.
Yeah, I don't follow Smash. Smash is hard to follow, especially when they're playing. So it's oh, Mango's playing, and then you tune in, and then match is already halfway over to being done, and you're oh, okay, well I guess I just missed it. And then you turn it off, and then you get a notification 5 minutes later, Mango's playing again, and you're just he just played. So it's it's really tough to stick to.
Yeah. And I feel like the website or the press coverage on like how these things work is not really all that strong.
Yeah, I know. I know. Also, Nintendo is like notoriously bad at like supporting Smash as just like an esport because like pretty much every other sort of like fighting game or whatever, they're like, okay, we have this game, we have to make sure that we're like, talking about it on social media and making sure that we're like advertising when events are and making sure that the game is balanced for like competitive play along with casual play and all this other stuff. And Nintendo's just like, nah, you're you guys don't deserve to have any sort of special treatment at all. And it shows.
Yeah, which sucks because I do really enjoy Smash.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. Just from like watching people do like really sick combos and stuff. But it's just hard to keep up with.
Yeah, I agree.
But moving on, we got some doozy of Valorant news, Frozen.
Yes, we do. Should we start off with good stuff?
We may want to start with the bad stuff and then just kind of pull it off like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, the weird stuff.
The weird stuff. I've never seen like this happen before. But so we got a reason why Katie left. It wasn't for like contract dispute. It wasn't team issues. It wasn't anything like that. It was so there was a caster who was in the Rainbow Six community for a long time, and she's also in Valorant. And there's this business of like someone was like trying to blackmail her, and they're like, hey, we have compromising photos of you, we're gonna release them. And Katie reached out to her and was like, hey, so I just sort of miraculously got a hold of those pictures, and it turns out she was the one that was going to like threaten to leak the pictures because she wanted to be friends with her, which was a really weird way to be friends with someone. Like, I've never heard of someone trying to blackmail another person into being friends with them. Like, you could just ask if you want to be friends. You could just talk to them like a normal person. It seems so out there in terms of like your goal for blackmail. Like, you could have asked for money or a number of other things instead of but you go for like, we should be friends.
Yeah, it was an extremely bizarre situation, but I really do think that Cloud9 did the right thing here.
No, they 100% did. I think there's
extremely unprofessional and not a very cool thing to do.
No, it's a pretty bad move, I think, just on the base level. I do think that C9, I do have to applaud them for not like making it public exactly why or anything. They're just like, we'll keep it quiet. No one has to really know. This is a private matter between private people, basically. We can just release her. It's fine. The details coming out definitely make it a lot worse. But they did do the right thing. I think that if you are in Cloud9's position, there's really no other choice but to just be like, look, we have to kick you. This isn't okay at all.
Yeah. So, what at the time seemed quite innocent was actually not very innocent.
No, it wasn't. And now the team is down like their best player.
Which is fine because she did something very wrong.
Yes, which is fine.
And I'm glad that it was dealt with swiftly.
Yes, I agree.
Talking about swiftly, I guess let's
let's
heal up that wound.
Heal up that wound with some other like this came pretty fast. So like it was announced that Relyks was leaving the team. Apparently this was happening before. Like he made this decision before the team entered that first stage of this this round of like challengers qualifiers. So like before this whole event that the team played in even started, he was talking to C9 about like leaving and wanting to like be off the team and all that. So it's that's interesting that it happened. I think that if you looked at the team after that event, it seems kind of weird because Relyks is not the most consistent player, But I think that when he is on, he's really valuable in what he was able to do. He gets really good picks. He can set up a lot of really good sort of vision dial through the omen smokes and everything. So he was a very good supportive player. He was able to be selfless and be like, look, I can play a role if no one else wants to play it. I can do a bunch of other stuff. So it wasn't like it wasn't like Shinobi level bad, right? Where he was just not pulling his weight in terms of the scoreboard or anything like that. But he did leave, and there were some rumors going about saying hey, Floppy and Zeppa from the CS:GO team, they've been doing some stuff with the Valorant team, and just so happens that the team announced that both of them have joined the C9 Blue roster. I believe for the event that they're going to be playing in tomorrow against T1 as their first match, Floppy is going to be playing. I believe Zeppa is still needing time to get acquainted with the game and sharpen himself up, so I'm not sure when he'll play, but we've added our North American CSGO kind of counterparts into our Valorant team, which I think was probably expected considering how much of a cluster that the CSGO situation was. But what are your thoughts on this?
I think it's an interesting way to start dismembering the CS:GO team. Obviously, Floppy was an up and coming a CS:GO player, and I haven't watched any of him playing Valorant at all. I'm not sure if
he hasn't streamed it much. I've kind of kept an eye out, and it seems like there's almost no footage of Floppy really playing Valorant, at least really recently. So it's hard to really tell how much he's exactly doing. I will say it shouldn't be that tough to get used to the game because Valorant and CS are so similar, in terms of game sense and roughly how some mechanics work and physics work. So it shouldn't be that hard. So hopefully it's not super bad.
Yeah, and if he is, I think he'll get a grace period for it in any way. I'm curious to see why they moved Zeppa over too, because that gives them an extra player, correct?
Yeah. So it has a 6-man, and I'm not really confident that 6-man rosters can really work in these types of games. It's just constantly people competing for a spot. Theoretically, it should make sense because it's there's more than 5 characters. So sometimes you may have compositional situations where it's okay, we need to have these 5 characters, but one of your players is bad on them. So it's okay, well, you have this extra player who's can specialize in that or is really good in that character, so you can swap them out. But that seems too specific in a game that I think requires you to be flexible. So, and it's that, and it's just someone's always on the bench, not able to get stage time. It's not like Pee Wee football rules where every kid gets to play, right? If you have someone that's way better than you, they're always going to have a starting spot where you're going to be having to wait to either that situation lines up to where you would be switched out, or you just become better, or the guy whose spot you're waiting for is getting way worse. So I just don't think it can work if they find a happy medium to where they can make sort of the 6-man team work, unless they're looking to see if anyone else in C9 Blue wants to leave. It's gonna be kind of awkward.
Yeah, and I wonder if there is some sort of tryout in place between Floppy and Zeppa, if they were both brought over to compete for a spot, and they're both just being given time to acclimate and learn their place in the team and the game.
Yeah, it could be. I know that when Leaf joined, it took him a little while to really get good at Sin City, or not Sin City, Valorant. I saw a picture of Sin City. That's why I said that.
Great movie though.
It's a great comic. I love it. But when Leaf transferred over to Valorant, he had to kind of have this period where he just had to play a lot, and he got better with each match he played. He looked better and better. So I think that should at least be the case for Flappy and Zeppa. But it'll be interesting to see. I am kind of curious how Flappy will play, since like on CSGO he was kind of similar to Relyks, where he would have these moments where he's either really good and he's really hot, or he's kind of cold and he's kind of struggling to get in the mood, so to speak. So it'll be interesting to see if he can become more consistent, since Valorant seems a bit easier than CSGO. But we'll have to see. Like I said, they play tomorrow against T1 in the Valorant VCT Challengers 2. And I believe the top 4 of this event goes on to another event, and the top 2 of that third event gets to go to Iceland as part of the big major tournament that Riot is holding there. So they can maybe do it. I'm not holding out any hopes in that they qualify, especially now that the roster is once again changed. So we'll have to see.
Or yeah, and just for clarification, tomorrow is Thursday.
Yes,
the
April
22nd. In case this is not up until today, meaning Thursday.
I'm pretty sure they play tomorrow.
So, you may be right. I don't know. I'm just saying that.
Yes. They play tomorrow, April 22nd at 4 p.m. Eastern. So
okay, this will
be up
before that time.
Yeah. Okay.
That I can promise.
Yeah. All right. But moving on, we can finally talk about Overwatch League again, Frozen. It's been like a year, but we can tidily talk about it. The league opened up last weekend. Our team didn't play, but some teams did. Like Vancouver Titans played, the Gladiators played, both of the Texas teams played, and we're seeing some old faces and new teams and some new faces, but it looked like the production was better. It looked like things were a lot more stable. I remember when they tried to move to this online, thing, especially with Season 3 happening, and, like, they weren't going to be on Twitch anymore. They were moving to YouTube. It was just so chaotic, and there was a few weeks where it was just really bad, like, production-wise. But it seems like they've worked out all the bugs. And I'm excited to see us play, because we haven't seen our team play since they did that little exhibition match where they played against the LA Gladiators. Last time they played, they went 2-3 in a really close 5-map series. And Friday, April 23rd at 4:30 Eastern, we're going to be playing them again. And I'm kind of excited to see what the Spitfire kind of learned since then. They've had some more scrims on their belt. I think they maybe are a bit more comfortable playing against these types of opponents and everything. Also, they actually have some film that they can watch. The Gladiators did lose in Week 1. Both were 1-3 losses to the San Francisco Shock and the Dallas Fuel. So they have some film that they can actually watch to kind of be like, okay, here's how they play on these maps. Here's what they kind of run. And the Gladiators haven't played against London since they played in that exhibition match. So London has a slight edge over the competition, at least in terms of, displaying their hand. So Friday, they're going to be playing against Gladiators. Sunday, April 25th at 3 p.m. Eastern, they play against the Houston Outlaws. And I believe Jake is back in the lineup, which is kind of nice to see, because I kind of like Jake. Jake is kind of he's kind of one of my more favorite Overwatch players.
Or which one is Jake again?
He was the one that was really famous for playing Junkrat. Like, he was basically like a Junkrat one trick, because he was really good at Junkrat. But he kind of struggled in some other areas in playing a DPS role. He took a break from that to go be a caster. I think he was actually really good at it. And I really liked his casting work. But he rejoined the Houston Outlaws, and he's back in the lineup. So we're going to be playing against him on Sunday.
Huh. Well, good. I am hoping to tune into this. It looks like it's on YouTube still.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. You watch it on YouTube. It's streamed. You can subscribe to the Overwatch League channel. You can get notifications when the matches start. They usually, like an hour before the first match starts, they have an encore of like a game that happened last night that was like, you know, maybe like the big match to watch or whatever. So they'll usually have like an encore match that plays, then the rest of the day will kind of go. So, you know, you can go there, check our boys out. We play this week finally. I'm so hyped just to see our team play because it's been like a year, and I want to watch Overwatch League again. You know, I don't know why it took them so long to have. They had, I think it was like a 6-month off season, which is kind of insane, if not more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If it felt like forever outside of like their one game. I know that they were competing in contenders up for a while though.
Yes.
They?
Our lineup is essentially
part of them.
Outside of like I think like 2 players. This is essentially the British Hurricane roster that dominated contenders for so long in Europe. They looked like basically these, you know, they're just crowding out in the, you know, in the contender space. They need to move into Overwatch League just so they can face tougher competition, because they weren't being challenged in contenders. I would watch their matches and it looked so like laughably easy for them to go and, you know, and play and just win a match. You know, sometimes they would get close, but for the most part, you know, they would just crush most everyone they played. So, you know, it was high time they moved up. And I think the current Hurricane roster that they put together is also doing really well. But this Spitfire roster, I think it's time that they get in the main stage. They really show what they're capable of against some tough competition. You know, also it's not like we were dealing with last season where we had like pretty much a bunch of rookies with like tier 2 and tier 3 experience that just, I think maybe they had like really one good season and they were kind of green and they're like, all right, go play. And then they're like, hey, you got to play against the Seoul Dynasty and all these other teams in the Asian circuit because of COVID. And they just got completely destroyed. But hopefully now that we're facing like maybe more like level competition, we can do better. We'll have to see. I don't know really where my expectations kind of lie, because it's so like, you know, just it's going to be weird. So hopefully they do well. I really want to have this team be successful.
Oh yeah, me too. And it'll be the first time like on such a big stage. Do you know if they're playing inside of on LAN or if they're playing from like the League of Legends home?
I'm not sure.
Home performance area.
So I'm not sure. I think Blizzard maybe figured out a way to create some sort of environment that you can play against teams online, but there would be almost no ping difference, or everyone would be operating on the same ping. I'm not sure, but I think it should be okay. I'm not really sure what like environment they're using. Yeah.
Or yeah, that's something I would be interested in reading up on. So I'll have to take a look, because I assume that they're mostly based in Europe, and the gladiators are not. So
Yeah.
a weird kind of situation there, but I'm sure they have that all figured out for this weekend if they did all of it last week.
Yeah. But moving on, we don't have the main League of Legends to talk about, but our Academy team did play against EG 2-0, and we had like 2 really different games, because one was just like a complete stomp that ended at like maybe like 20 minutes, and then the other was like,
yeah, it was quick.
The other, like, I think each team had like 20 or 30 kills to them, and there was just a bloodbath.
Oh yeah, I feel like overall it was a fun series to watch.
It was really fun to watch, yeah.
Yeah. Outside of contracts just being demolished in game 1, but outside of that, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, the game 1 was so quick. you blinked and it's like, wait, it's almost over. What are they doing? But the team's
yeah,
looking.
It's good to see the team perform well.
Yeah.
And Evil Geniuses, when they came down, they 3-1 TSM Academy, so they are into the losers semifinal against the 100 Thieves Academy.
Yeah, I see that.
So, on Thursday, which is either today or tomorrow, probably today, they are playing.
It's
No
actually tomorrow on the 22nd.
Yes, but I probably won't.
In terms of
tonight.
uploading, right? Got it.
Yeah, so
I'm a
it'll
goof.
be today, possibly, but it's Thursday at what 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, 6 p.m. Eastern. They play against No Org.
Who has been playing extremely well. They beat Golden Guardians Academy, then BRG, which is an amateur team.
Yeah, and this is the team that has like Viper, Onda, and Big in the lineup with Five Fire and Value. So.
Yeah, this is Five Fire.
Yeah.
Yusui's on a different team.
Yeah, but so you're kind of. I think that this No Org roster, I'm kind of not surprised that they're in the semifinals, just because you literally have 3 players that have played. I think at least a full year, if not more, in the LCS at some point or another. So, I'd have to think that, it's going to be a tough match. We do have Darshan, though, in King and Schernfire, who I think their experience alone, I think is really good. I think they've been really leading the team. I think Darshan really stepped up. Like last game, I think he was one of the players that really helped us actually win, especially in that insane game 2. So I think we could probably win. I think it's mostly going to be just it's going to come down to a bit of drafting. It's going to come back down to us playing together and not making too many mistakes. And I think we should win, because I think we just really have, I think, the superior team. I mean, looking at King's stats alone, I don't think there's any way you could tell me that our bot lane is going to get run over by Value and Big. No offense to them, but.
Oh yeah, there was one specific fight in game 2 of the last series against Evil Geniuses, where King's positioning and in auto skills.
Oh yeah, he was playing Ezreal, wasn't he?
But I think it was on maybe.
I think it might have been. I remember, because I do remember there was just this insanely brilliant play that King was doing, where he was just perfectly spacing out everything and dodging skill shots and landing everything and just doing so much damage. I think he got a triple kill or something. And
yeah, mm-hmm.
It was, he's really, really good. And he could kind of just solo carry, he can just kind of solo carry the team sometimes if you let him.
Oh yeah, and I still haven't been extremely impressed with Copy yet, but he still has plenty of time to develop, since he's only 18 still.
Yeah, this is also, I think, his first ever. Isn't this his first split in Academy ever?
Yes, but he also played on 100 Thieves Next, and he was on Dignitas from the scouting grounds.
Okay.
For apparently 8 days.
Okay, so a little bit of professional experience, but I don't think you can really say a lot to really call him any in any stretch a seasoned kind of player.
Yeah, he's 18, so he's only been eligible to play for a year.
Yeah, but I think the talent's there. Copy does do some really good plays. I think he does get overshadowed. He gets overshadowed by King and probably Darshan a lot. But he still does do some really good plays. So I think we could win. I don't think that it's going to be a best of 5, I believe. So I think we can win 3-0 or 3-1.
Yeah, and winner goes to the grand final. So it would be a big thing to win this match.
Yeah, and then I'd assume we'd play the winner of No Oregon, whoever wins the 100 Thieves EG match.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we could end up just facing Nowhere twice because
Right.
they're good, but 100 Thieves Academy has been strong. They got knocked out by Evil Genius's Academy once. So I think that's the game to watch, but it's a best of 5 from here on out, so
Yeah.
should be fun. I think that's it for Cloud9 news. Do you want to talk about Cloud9 adjacent news?
What sort of adjacent?
For like 5 minutes?
Yeah. What sort of adjacent news do you have?
100 Thieves has signed a new head coach.
Oh yes, that's right. I was going to talk about this. I completely forgot about it in the write up. So continue, Frozen. Continue.
Yes. So 100 Thieves were not happy with the trajectory of their split, and they brought on a certain big-brained former Cloud9 coach in Reapered for the next split.
Yeah, they. I think this is the right move. I think that with Zix, it's a trend that we've seen throughout. I think his coaching career, where I think he is able to get really good drafts. I think Zix is really smart at drafting, and he's able to, research compositions, find out what's strong and what really worked for the team and their strengths, and choose the champions. But I think when it comes to taking your players, getting them to more synergize together and raising their level of play, I think that's where he's always kind of struggled, versus if you look at Reaper in his career, he's had several, he has an LCS championship. He has had several second place LCS finishes, more than I can count. He has raised the skill ceiling of, I would say, countless players when he was in Cloud9 along with Westrice. So he is a coach that you 100% want, especially if your program's struggling, because I think he can really whip 100 Thieves into shape, especially since they're bringing over Abadage from Rogue, which I did not see coming. I thought he was going to stay on. I saw a report that Niski was maybe going to go back to NA and play on 100 Thieves, and Fnatic was maybe going to try to get another mid laner. I did not expect at all to see Abadage joining 100 Thieves, especially after them finishing second in the LEC. You'd think that he would want to stay. I guess 100 Thieves just offered him more money, and it was just like, well, I can't refuse this. This is such a big pay increase. Of course I'll play for you.
Yeah, and I assume that 100 Thieves spent rather large out for Reapered and Abadage total. I haven't confirmed it, but I think someone was saying that Abadage played with Closer in Europe on a team for a little bit.
Yeah, maybe in like a EU Masters thing or something. I'm not sure like what his history is. I think that this raises 100 Thieves' play quite a bit because you've gotten rid of the struggling mid laner issues because you have Abadage, who I think is, in his time in the LEC, he's been a really good mid laner. Someday he has his green card, so he's a resident now. You have Closer still, which Closer I think is really a good jungler, and you have the 100 Thieves bot lane is good. I think FBI and Huhi are a really solid team. Are they like the best bot lane? I'd have to say no, but in terms of ranking them, I would put them in top 3, top 4. I think that they're a really solid bot lane that's consistently is able to hold lane and do what they need to do as a bot lane for their team. So, you didn't really need to make changes there. So they made the necessary changes to their coach. They got a better mid laner. You were able to lock down like your franchise player for at least another split, if not another year. So I'm really curious to see how 100 Thieves kind of plays with these big changes. They may experience like some growing pains, but hopefully they can be a stronger team because it seems like they're kind of trending towards them kind of wanting to break the top 3 kind of bracket and be sort of that new consistent top 3 team and kind of beat TSM down or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I feel like they brought in the parts that they needed to I guess usurp TSM as like that third place team that we would expect to go to Worlds. But I'm also still excited to see how Evil Geniuses does, because I have said that they're going to Worlds already, so I have to stay behind that. But I do think it is a step up. I haven't watched a lot of Abidage's games, so I'm not 100% sure how good he is, but I know that he is a step up from their
The Demonte Ryoma situation, yeah.
yeah, and I still think that their Demonte situation could have been improved a lot better, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think there needed to be a change there. I think you needed a consistent mid laner. I think, and to be perfectly fair to Ryoma, when he came in, and from like when he came into how he ended the split, he improved. Like he looked visibly better than when he played like last year. I think that he looked a lot better, and I think that I think he at least showed that he still has potential to grow and to be better. Mid lane is probably the most competitive market to try to break into, because you're having to compete with mainstays who have played for a while in NA. You're also having to I think it's like one of the most heavily imported roles out of all the five. So you're going to have to be competing with that as well, you know. So he may have a tough time like landing a spot. He may have to go back to academy. But I think that he showed potential that if he can continue to improve and continue to play, he will, I think, eventually maybe break through and get, a starting spot on like maybe like a budget roster, like Golden Guardians or Immortals or, CLG or something like that, and then try to work up from there. So I think, I think he should stick with it. I think same for Demonte. I think their issue was that they kind of faltered in their play a bit, and they could never really get it back. And I think there's still some stuff that they maybe need to work on.
Yeah, I agree. And I did do some digging into Closer and Abidage, and it does look like they played together on a team named Royal Bandits in Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Guess, I think this is gonna surprise you. Who was all on this team actually?
Who was on the team?
Top lane there was Broken Blade.
Oh.
Jungler was Closer.
Okay.
Mid lane was Abidage. You might know this name. The ADC was Freeze.
Yeah, Freeze. Yeah, I know Freeze. Yeah, he's
now a coach for 100 Thieves.
Yeah. He was. I remember when Freeze played, he was praised as like this, this like genius AD carry player who is just super super good. But he had like a lot of wrist issues, and it really kept him from playing and going higher. But yeah, I remember Freeze. Yeah.
He's a coach for 100 Thieves now, and then their support, a famous name also, not really in the West per se, but Dumbledore.
Oh yeah, Dumbledore. Yeah, I love him.
That's like a legit team.
That's like That's like a Turkish super team. Damn.
Yeah, that was 2018. So
wow.
3 years ago. I don't know if they went to Worlds or not.
I don't think they did.
It doesn't look like it because they lost. Their 2018 latest loss was to Supermassive, and I'm assuming
Supermassive is usually the one that goes to Worlds.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they only send a one TCL team. So,
but yeah, that's super cool. I like how it kind of came full circle like that. So hopefully, 100 Thieves can show us some good stuff. I think the spring summer off season may not be kind of quiet, just because summer is kind of where you really want to ramp up anyway, so you can try to make a Worlds run. So we may not see a lot of roster changes and a lot of news other than maybe some teams that are just like really hurting for it. So we may not see that, but I think it's at least going to be, the summer's going to be more competitive since, you're competing for World spots. And, it's not like previous years where it's like, oh, well, spring kind of counted and you get points and, and all that garbage. It's if you don't place in summer, you just don't go. So the heat's going to be on for everybody.
Yeah, and I really do think it was a good arms race, or not an arms race, but it was a good move by Hunt Under Thieves to try and upgrade to their coach going into the split.
Yeah, I agree.
So that'll be interesting to see. I am kind of surprised that they didn't get an Iniski. It kind of made sense to me. So I think Abadage is a better pickup, but
yeah,
and he will be a good addition to LCS. Like, he's probably the second best mid laner already.
Yeah,
maybe third.
Yeah,
fourth,
it's gonna be. We have so many European players that are in mid lane now. It's kind of funny, but
yeah, and he gets to cash a big check. So
yeah,
good for him.
Yeah, that too. But
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to follow us at C9 Bodied on Twitter, and we'll see you again next time.
Yep, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.